Or did you tell me to go already? Oh, sorry. Hello and welcome to another episode of Remember When with Dionadoherty, a podcast where I, Dionadoherty, ask my guests to remember when something happened in pop culture history that's had such a profound effect on them that they have to share it with us today. You can now join the Patreon, patreon.com/Remember When, where you will get the Monday mini pod, where it's just you and I, literally just you and I. And I get to talk to myself, which is the way I like it the most. And that's every Monday. You can also buy tickets to, what do you call it? The Hen Do. That's my show. It's out this October. The best place to buy tickets is on the GBL website. Well, it'll be in this description. I'll make sure it is. Where you can buy tickets to the Grand Opera House, and then it's also going to Coleraine, Enniskillen, Derry, Ballymena, Armagh, all the places. You can go see it anywhere. You'll never have to drive more than, I'd say, 20 minutes. Unless you live in another country, then of course you'll have to. It'll be far longer to get to Cookstown if you live in, like, I don't know, Bulgaria. That's a long drive to see my show, but I think it would be worth it. Tickets are available now. Thanks very much in advance. Today my guest is everyone's favourite 30-year-old teenager. It is Eoghan Quigg.
Hey.
Do you not think everyone still thinks you're a teenager?
Yeah. No,
Yeah.
everyone still thinks I look the same. I mean, I get a lot of people coming up and saying to me, "What'd you do with the hair?" Like, "Oh my God, you're so different." I'm like, "It's fucking 15 years ago."
Yeah,
Do you know
it's just grown a bit.
They expect you to stay that form forever.
Yeah, I know.
So
Which is a wee bit perverted, isn't it? It's like, no, I'm going to grow up and become a man.
Yeah, it's always middle-aged women too. They were like, "Oh, what happened to all that big hair?" And I was like,
Oh, your hair.
You're allowed to go get a haircut, and where did all the blonde go? It's like, I cut
where's
myself
the wee
on.
braces and
Exactly,
I
the
know.
waistcoats and stuff. They do expect you to be the same. That is annoying. And then people always say as well, "Well, how many years ago was that?" And you're like, oh, fucking guess.
Because every time someone asks you as well, it's bound to be further away.
Of course, and
So you have to do the math every time.
It's the same answer all the time. It's like, "Oh, glove, was that about 5 or 6 years ago?" I'm like, "No, it was about 15 years ago." They'd be like, "Geez, doesn't time fly?" You'd be like, "This fucking happens, you know."
I know. Is it? Because I'm sure. Because I feel like you were one of the first famous teenagers from here.
I probably.
Like, there wasn't anybody
No.
else your age, our age. I'm also everyone's favourite teenager. In our 30s. But, like, there wasn't anybody our age at the time.
No, there wasn't.
In the media?
I hate that term famous because it was like,
I know.
I was literally like playing football in the street and then I was on the TV. It went like that. Like, it just was madness. But there wasn't really anyone. I can't really think. No.
Do you know, like, there's probably nobody that you could have went, here, how does this work? You know what I mean? Like, somebody who could give you a format.
Oh,
When
no
was
one.
Nadine Coyle on TV? Was she after
See,
you?
no, she is before me, to be fair.
Was she
That
before
was
you?
Pop Stars, The Rivals.
Yeah.
I know, she's a bit older than me. I don't even remember.
That's passive aggressive.
Sorry. I love Nadine and she's great. There wasn't really anyone, and at the time it was just a case of, like, you know, let's do it for the crack and just see if it works out, you know what I mean?
You and I was doing a bit of research on you this morning, and we have 3 things in common.
Right.
One, we're both from Derry.
Yeah.
I mean, you're from Dungannon, County Derry.
County.
You wish, but whatever.
Yeah. But
We'll
you're a
let it-
sellout, you've left, so.
I've left. Still in my blood. Derry, we are both step parents.
We are.
Who are currently on the verge of having our second biological child. That's very specific, isn't it? And third, Lee Walsh fancies us both.
Does he?
I don't know. I hope so.
Oh, God.
But the fact that we're both step parents
It's
with
weird.
multiple step
How
kids.
have we not met before? It's crazy.
There should be some sort of, like, support system that we're both involved in.
Our patterns are very similar. We had a kid 2 years ago and now we're both expecting again.
We got.
It's like,
What's the word? What do you get when you want to have a baby? What's the word? Broody.
oh yeah.
Around the same time.
Yeah.
So you're about to have your second. Well, it's the fourth
Yeah,
child
so
in the
4.
house.
Well, I've got 3 at home. This is going to be like the second in the space of 2 years. So
Yeah.
I just thought, you know what, let's just get them done.
Done.
We envision ourselves buying a bar in Portugal when we're 50. And the kids will be away at uni or living their own lives. So
Ideal.
we're like, well, we just wait or we just do it now. Get it over and done with. Get on the waiting list for the snap next year. Boom. That's
Oh
us.
my God.
Good.
Sean, my husband, did that.
Did he?
Well, that.
Here, did he get put out for it or did he not get put out for it? Because
You
there's
don't
like
get put out for it.
you don't. Well, I've had a few band members in our band who had the option of going under the needle, and they did. They were
Pussies.
literally. But apparently, a guy his brother-in-law didn't go for it, and they had to like put. Well, I'm sure Sean will probably tell you. Like they had to like jag his balls.
Yeah.
And he's walking around like John Wayne for weeks.
I think somebody also like gets on their knees and their eye level at your dick, like
man.
with the syringe.
Well, I heard you can have the option, and like I know.
Would you want to be knocked out?
100%.
I mean, 100%. It's not a big procedure.
No, I know it's not, but apparently if you don't, well, he was sold on the basis that if you don't go under the anaesthetic, you'll be out literally in an hour. So he's all great. And that caught him, but he was really sore for weeks. Whereas the guy who did go under the knife, he was out within a couple of hours and no pain.
Oh, well.
So,
no, Sean got a vasectomy and then got a reversal.
Can you do that?
You can, but it doesn't work.
Oh, it doesn't work?
No, it didn't work. Which is then the reason why we had to do IVF to have our kids together, because it didn't work. No, it's so because like he literally got his when he was a fetus himself. It was because he had 3 kids very young, and then he got his vasectomy done. I was like, I am done. Then he met me, and obviously the heavens opened, and he was like, I want it. Like, how do I not want this woman's babies?
See, I said this to Amy. I said, well, look, like, she asked me, like, no more 4s, of course. Like, the house is, the house is coming down with kids, and we're probably going to need a bigger house in the next couple of years. But we had this conversation where, would you be up for the snip? And then I thought possibly, but, more I thought about it, I thought, well, there's probably more chance of, if we don't work out, I'm going to go off and probably have more kids. Where you've already had
you said that to her?
I said that to her. Oh, and I swear to God, I went down like a fucking lead balloon. She was like, excuse me? Yeah. And I was like, fuck. I
mean, there's nothing romantic that someone going,
no.
I will let the doctor snip my dick, but what if when we're done I meet someone else younger who can still have kids?
I was just putting it out there, hypothetically it could possibly happen, hopefully not, but I'm like, you've already had your fun before me, who knows in the future. Yeah. But it didn't go down too well.
I mean, you say she's had her fun before you. She had 2 kids before you, and then 2. I mean, I didn't know how fun. I didn't know how fun giving birth and having babies is.
But she's a pro at this stage, like.
But it is true though, because you could keep impregnating whoever you want to. You're like 90. But I don't think that's for us. We can't do that.
No, I don't think so. But like, I mean, the whole point of shitting blanks for the rest of your life sounds good, because you don't want to be going back to what you were doing when you were a teenager. With all those things, like fuck that.
So you're set. So this is you've got you want under 2.
Yeah, she's 2.
We should have a joint birthday for our kids.
There we go. But we'll have it in Derry.
We can go near the place.
Because I've come here. You can return the favour.
Yeah. Oh, right now.
So I came up.
How is she getting on? Because nearly 2's like, my child's wacky, like full of beans all the time. Do you know what she woke up? She usually wakes up in the morning, and first thing she says, because we have a baby monitor and we can hear from her bedroom. Which obviously, if we didn't hear her, we wouldn't know she was awake. But she usually wakes up and goes, "Mummy, Daddy, wake up!" Like that's what we've taught her to say. Do you know whenever you trying to transition them out of crying when they wake up, and you're like, "Say, Mummy, Daddy, wake up!" So that's what she usually says when she wakes up. This morning, she woke up and went, "Mummy, Daddy, where am I going? Where am I going today?"
Oh fuck!
She's not even doing. Where am I going today? I was like, "Fucking nowhere. Where do you think you're going?" I was like, "Every day is not soft play day."
Well, you're lucky because actually, Amy's coming too, but she still sleeps in our bed.
But that's great.
No, it's not.
But it's good. Like, apparently that contact's brilliant for a child.
For the first while, but like we've had to make her own wee room. We got her in the room. It was great. She stayed in it for a couple of weeks. We went on holidays last year to Spain, and because she was sort of in the bed with us during holidays, she came back and thought, you know what? That's where I want to be. Better. So she copped on. It kind of caught us. So we ended up.
Just managed to get pregnant again.
I know. I don't know.
It happens other places besides the bedroom.
So basically, we took her bed back into our room, but she still won't lie in it. So now we've one coming, and we've her. So I'm thinking, like, do we try and get her out within the next couple of weeks, which is not going to happen, or this new kid comes on, stays in the room, and then we get the new kid out?
Oh, but
the 6 months.
So the 4 will be in the room?
So there'll be 4 of us.
Would you not be afraid of your toddler waking in the baby?
See, this is
and the baby waking in the toddler?
Unless we... I don't know. We get separate beds.
My best friend sleeps with her 2.5-year-old and her newborn was 3 months now. They're both in the same room, and she says it works perfectly fine.
Serious?
Yeah. She says they all sleep through the night.
No, see, Amy would wake up and just cry for water or something, like all the time. So if she cries, wakes that baby. But we've kind of transformed the nursery into somewhere where like Amy can go in and lie and stuff. So hopefully.
Do you know if you put her in her own room and didn't put a baby monitor in it, she would sleep through the whole night?
Serious?
Just because you can't hear her.
See, we had a baby monitor and she climbed out of the cot and we were watching her climbing, and I think I had this up on like I think it was Instagram or something, but I was watching, it looks worse, it looks like I went in and saved her, but I've been watching her. She literally climbs up and she's just about to fall and I have to go and catch her. So we had to get rid of the bed. Like, she's so mischievous. Like, she rules the roost. Like, she is the boss. Like, whatever she says goes. And what Amy always says is, it's Amy's world and we just live in it. And it's so true.
Do you think it's because there's such a gap between her? Why is just her older brother and
Cooper
sister?
and Mallow are coming 9 and 10, so there is like an 8-year gap.
Yeah.
So like even with them, like, you know, it's my daddy. No, it's my mummy.
Yeah,
Do you know what I mean?
yeah.
And they're like, but it's my mummy too.
Yeah.
But she's like, no, it's
because
not.
my daughter, the next one up's 14. They're 14, 16 and 19.
Yeah.
My stepsons.
Oh, okay.
And she looks at them like they're just full adults.
Oh, yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
like, she doesn't think they're like other kids. She's like, well, they also have jobs and go play. Like, which they don't. But she thinks that they all are like actual adults. Do you know what I mean? So then that's like she's the only kid in the house, but she's not. No. Do you know what I mean? I also have them 3 and my husband.
Yeah,
so 4 more kids.
But they're good with like I always say, like, Milla's she's the second, but she's the girl. Say when we ever need anything done, or say we just want some time.
Yeah.
I'll just take her away, go play toys.
Yeah.
You know, an hour, and we'll just sit there. It's great.
Yeah.
So they're wee victories, and it's nice to have the older ones as well.
Oh my God, I like, obviously becoming a step parent's really daunting, and I've always been like, such a lot of work. It's a massive commitment, and it's hard because obviously they're not yours biologically, and it is a massive undertaking. And like the most grateful I've ever been of having stepkids is when I had my daughter, and was like, they are like extra people to love her.
Yeah.
And they are obsessed with each other.
Yeah.
They play constantly. Like, they're great. You know what I mean? And even you can be like, right, would you play with her for 10 minutes? Did I get this done or get that done?
Exactly. And
it's like having free babysitters because am I paying them?
Yeah, 100%.
Do you know what I mean?
It's like we live the fucking same life.
I know.
You're
it's
just
mad.
one side of the country and I'm the other side.
It's so funny. I also sing. No, don't.
I'm funny. I'm not.
You do a lot of weddings and stuff now, don't you?
Yeah, so we've moved into weddings because it fucking pays.
Yeah, it's the market.
It's exactly
Yeah,
it pays
of
far
course.
much more. So I got like 5-piece wedding band. I do stuff on my own. We've got 2-piece. We've got so if anyone's getting married, you know, just hit me up on the socials and
Most people do get married.
we'll get you sorted. That's what we say. Like, we wanted to move into somewhere where we're still involved in music. Like, I don't want to, like, listen, I had my time there and it was great and I loved it, but I just always felt like I just didn't really want it. Like, I wanted it and it was amazing and it all happened overnight, but like eventually I was really dying to get out of it because I hated the whole fame and shit. I was like, I'm from Dungiven, do you know what I mean? I run about with like black jumper and navy Umbro tracksuit bottoms. This was me before X Factor, and then even after that, I know, black and navy, do you know what I mean? So like, getting out of that was like, how do I still be involved in music but not?
I love how you're like, I can't be famous, I wear black jumper,
do you know what I mean?
bottoms.
Exactly. That's the way I was. I was like a wee stoke growing up, basically.
Yeah.
And then for some reason, then I was on TV in front of millions, and people were handing me these contracts and this amount of money, and you're like, what the fuck? And then I went and bought a couple of navy tracksuit bottoms. I thought, this is fucking great. But coming home, I was like, how do I still be involved in music, but not to that extent? So that's where we found the weddings, and it's great. It's great. It works. It's so simple. I just say to people, look, I'm still involved in music, but I can fucking put the bin out, or I can go and buy a bread loaf. Which 15 years ago, it was hard for a couple of years. Do you know what I mean? It was actually. And I know people think, what? Who's he? But for a while, it was nuts. Like, so.
I'm sure because even now you'd still be very recognisable. I'm sure you.
But
I'm sure in the area you live in, people are used to seeing you. But if you rock out of that, like I'm sure if you went to dander around down here, people would be like, "Oh, there's Eoghan Quigg." Do you know what I mean?
They're actually, I swear to God, I'm only after coming out of Spire down the road with the breakfast roll, and there was an old man, he's about 60, and he says, "You look very familiar. Were you on TV before?" And I says, my name's Eoghan Quigg. And he was, "Oh, you were the wee guy on Britain's Got Talent." I was, "Well, the X Factor, like, but you're almost there."
You have to be
so you do get people that still, they say like you're still recognisable, but I think it's just down to having a wee fat face. I still have that chubby, like, kind of baby look about me, which I had back then.
Well, you're still the same person. So
oh well, I know, like, but it is still nice to get recognised, like, you know what I mean.
Yeah.
After all this time, you must have done something. Rememberable.
Sticking in people's brains.
Of course.
Talk me through these tattoos. You have a shit ton of tattoos.
I know. Do you know what? That was just a phase of life afterwards. Whenever like you.
When you had enough grey or enough navy tracksuit bottoms, you moved on to tattoos.
I thought I'm gonna move on to black jeans and tattoos. Oh no, I mean, I don't know. I got one.
You have all these Roman numerals.
Yeah. So we're all up here, and then we're all over around just the arms, though, nowhere else. But I'm thinking. Do you happen to
have a Chinese symbol that means friendship anywhere? Just me.
I kind of have.
Do you? Yeah. Does one of them mean friendship?
No, it doesn't mean friendship, but this one means...
No, but I have one is what I'm saying. I'm a tacky bitch too.
Well, I don't know if it does. Well, she said it was Japanese, but it was the same thing. Like.
Oh, we like to give me a Chinese one. I'll take Japanese.
No,
much
she
more
said,
cultured.
well, like Japanese is more cooler, and I was like, whatever. So this is shite. Hope and faith. Like, that's so gay. Like, it's so tacky. Like, that's so hope and faith. Do you know what I mean?
But here
they were to be fair, that one there, which is my name in Arabic, which is it? You know what I mean?
But also, I always think it's funny when someone gets their own name on themselves.
Yeah.
But it's great that you got it done in Arabic because that's just a cool design. Whereas if you had have written your own name there in Irish or English or whatever, then it would have been like, do you forget?
Well, I had them 3 done for so long before I decided to go full sleeve. Yeah. And my mates used to say like that is like I'm Eoghan Quigg, but my nickname's Quiggy. And this apparently says Quiggy. Now my mates don't believe this, and for a long time I didn't believe it. But the girl put in Quiggy to this tattoo translator thing, and this is what came up. So I got it done. So anyway, we were on a holiday. I can't remember where it was, in Spain somewhere, and there was a guy, and he was from he was Arabic, and I think he was from Morocco or somewhere. And one of the boys was passing, was like, here, what does this say? What does this say? What does this say? And then he looked at it and he goes, I'm not sure, it doesn't mean anything. And they were all, well, can you pronounce it? And he was all, Quiggy. Quiggy. And I was like, fucking yes. I was all, get that there. Quiggy. Like, Quiggy, like. So I was like, it fucking is true.
That's so good.
That tattoo artist, thank you, like, because for years I could have fucking said, like, ribs or something, or curry or chicken.
But imagine this, it was one big, massive master plan from that tattoo artist who sent that guy on your holidays.
This is it.
Years later, just to reinforce. It was like part of the package deal.
Yeah.
That's class. And then is that like the Big Brother eye?
No, that's actually Amy's eye.
Is it?
I know, that's weird too.
No, it's not weird. That's great.
Do you know what? This tattoo is like pre-Amy, and this is kind of like post-Amy.
I do like that one better.
So this one is
although there's a guitar on that side.
Yeah, so things that sort of, that's the date we met and started going out, and then...
I have a feeling if you do ditch Amy and start impregnating other people, it's going to be difficult with that arm.
It's going to be the big
bra. It's going to be
the big bra right then. But
yeah.
So like we got the Cooper Miller as well, and like loads of different things. But I know I got pretty full on with him for so long. But now, because I have Amy and this new baby's coming, Amy's like, so when are you going to get something for them? So I'm kind of thinking chest next. But I don't really know if I want to, because I'm softer now in my 30s. Like, tattoos are sore.
They are sore.
They weren't sore in my 20s, but I feel now that I would be a bitch about it now, and I wouldn't like it.
Well, why don't you do wee small ones somewhere? Is there no space left in your arms?
No, there's no space in my arms, no.
Let me see the eye again. So did you take on a photograph of Amy's eye and the tattoo artist?
And they did it.
And they did it in Arabic.
I know, that's her lips as well.
Oh my God.
I know.
That's crazy. Do you know what? I'm convinced, I probably shouldn't say this in the podcast, but I'm convinced... I'm convinced my ex-boyfriend has my face on his arm.
God.
My whole face.
Serious?
I need to show you after the podcast. I don't give a fuck. I years ago I did like some wee bit of modelling, whatever, you can't tell by looking at me. And I did a geisha photo shoot, like geisha makeup, right? And it's on Google, you can find it. And he literally has that tattooed on his arm, and all of his friends said it, and I can't remember if he got it done. He got it done towards the end, I think, of
Do you have a picture of it?
Of his arm or the tattoo?
The tattoo on his arm?
I think we can find that pretty easily as well, yeah.
Oh my God.
But everyone was like, that's definitely Diona's face. And I don't know if he denied it or not, but we very quickly finished up. I think he might have left me for a geisha, I'm not sure, but like we split up, and maybe it was her. But like, you're looking at it going, that's definitely my my full face in geisha makeup. What a weird fetish.
See, I can get away from that. Like, that can be anyone. Well, I've just outed myself, but
yeah.
It can be anyone.
But also, chill out. She's about to have your baby. It is.
I know that it's literally talking about if I ever leave you, or if,
God love
she's
her.
not going to want to watch this now.
I know, she's at home just about to give birth to your child, and you're like, if this could be anyone. But that's like, how long did it take to, like, who's that face over there? Sorry, I'm so interested in your tattoos.
So, this was just my tattoo artist design. I just says, let me pick one of your designs.
A face.
So we fill this up, and a lot of faces were going about at the time. I think it's to symbolise Mother Nature or some shit like.
Right. Okay.
I don't mind it, because in the summer, then when we freckle back, then she freckles up.
Oh, class.
And that's kind of cool.
When did you start getting all your tattoos?
So I haven't had a tattoo now in a few years. So I got this one about 10 years ago, and then about 7 years ago.
Do you think that was also like an act of like moving away from Eoghan Quigg, the wee squeaky clean teenager on TV?
Possibly. I think I wanted more of an agey kind of look. Like I wanted to get away from those navy tracksuit bottoms.
Yeah.
And I wanted to like look
move into navy arms.
At one stage, I think might be able to see it. But I got my eyebrow pierced, and that was like the worst thing I've ever done because now I've got a scar there for life.
Oh yeah.
So stupid things like that, moving away. But no, I kind of like the tats. And then somebody said to me, like, I know, but when you're 60 and you're all your grandkids on your knee, well, you think, like, look at those tattoos. I'm like, I don't give a fuck what I look like when I'm 60. Like, fuck that. I can be fat, no hair. I don't care. Like,
look at Pete Davidson. He has tattooed on himself. Like, my girlfriend's a lawyer, and she's definitely not because he's split up with her now. Yeah, he's got her kids' names.
Fuck off.
He got Pete Davidson has Kim Kardashian's 4 kids' initials on his body. He fucking does.
Here, but fair play to him, like.
Yeah, because he said it doesn't matter. This is a story of my whole life. So he's got something to do with all his partners and all his ex-girlfriends.
He's dated some lovely women. Like, I don't know why.
He's done well for himself.
So good.
I mean, he must be seriously funny, and I know because like big dick energy is the thing because I mean, you can laugh anyone into bed.
Yeah, I suppose.
You want to see who I've got. Like, you can. Like, the trick is to make somebody laugh.
Yeah.
You can be gorgeous, but if you're boring...
Yeah, I get that.
Do you know what I mean?
Works for Sean.
It works for Sean. Sean was that 60-year-old man you met outside Spar. He was like, I recognise you from the TV. So you're still playing music all the time now? Like, would that still be your first love?
That's probably
because you play football too, don't you?
I do a bit of football and stuff, but it's probably the thing I'm best at, like, and it comes easy. But like, I do loads of stuff. Like, we have, like, I got a hair transplant about.
Did she?
3 years ago. Yeah. So if you know my daddy, or maybe probably you don't. Do you know my dad?
I mean, I don't. Should I?
Okay. Hopefully you're from
Does he listen to the podcast?
Maybe he does.
Is he a funny man? That I might.
He's a bald man, and so is my granddad. And then I was kind of going that way, but because I was so renowned for having like such that big hair, and people do always say, "Geez, what happened to your hair?"
Yeah.
I was like going. I was like, "Fuck this! How can I sort this out?" So I ended up going getting a transplant in Turkey, and then I actually became friendly with the company over there that I actually send people over now, which is great. So I do that as well, but I'm still trying to stay in music. I swear to God, lockdown has showed me, like, look, you can't have one career because music, we were screwed for like a year and a half. So I was like, what else can I do? So I'm trying to dip my toe into everything.
What else does this company do in Turkey? Asking for a friend?
See, to be honest, I'm not so sure because Amy did have a few questions like that as well. Yeah.
Well, because I suppose too, because I'm starting to think probably the same as Amy, you're all, once I'm done my last baby.
Yeah.
What shit should I get done?
Yeah, exactly.
The world's my oyster.
What can I get lifted
No
up,
one else is going to live in here anymore.
So we do, like, it is cool, and it's something that, like, I never thought I'd be involved in. So, like, we do send a lot of people over stuff. I'm going to just use this to promote myself. So if there is anybody listening who wants a hair transplant,
we have a big bald audience.
I will sort you out. Good.
Yeah.
Good.
The massive demographic for bald
So I just did that, and I thought, like, you know, there's a market here for it too, because a lot of people are so insecure. Like, I was fucking so insecure, but I was like, I don't want to be bald, man. Like, fuck this. I don't want to look like my dad. I don't want to look like my granddad. Does
a hair transplant last forever?
I think so. Like, I mean, I think so. There's no reason why it shouldn't. What they basically do is, so see the back. You ever see old men? They've got they've the upside down hair. Like, so they've got hair here.
Oh, yeah,
nothing up here.
Yeah.
So basically, this is your donor area. So apparently that never goes bald. So, like, you can take all those follicles out of there. And like 85% of those will grow back, and then you just implant them to all the wee places where you need.
Oh, so it's your own hair follicles?
What do you think it was?
I don't know. Donated? I thought people in some, like, do you know what I mean? Or maybe they've grown them in the lab.
Imagine that was your job. You donated your hair, like.
Well, you could just tweeze your eyelashes, or not your eyelashes. That'd be weird. your eyebrows or something.
Because I get a bit of stick for a while. Boys were saying, "Oh, you've got some fucking like dog's hair from Turkey or whatever." Because at the start, it is very pubic, like it's very wiry, and you're like, "Fuck."
Until it gets conditioned and stuff.
Of course, and then it comes good. But like, no, well, apparently, if these donor hairs don't ever stop growing, they'll not stop growing. So.
And do you get knocked out for that?
Yeah.
Aye.
Well, you get out for a wee while, and then they numb your head. So when you wake up, you're like, what the fuck? You've this sensation of them pecking at your head, but there's no pain. It's fucking nuts. Like, I thought I was tripping. Like, I was like, what's going on? I feel like this boy's literally fucking pulling my brain.
Yeah.
But there's no pain. And then, like, see, for months afterwards, like, you could have hit me in the head. I had no feeling in my head. Got to the point where I was like, fucking hell, I'm never going to get this back. But then it did eventually come back. So everyone's different, but it's like a 98.5 success rate. So if you've decent enough head of hair, like, you'll be good, like.
And, like, so the process of the first time for you going, had you been to Turkey before?
No.
Was it scary initially? Because you were like, obviously this is a different.
I went on a hunch of a fella who went, and I knew him, and I seen his results, and I thought, like, fuck, that's a bit of me there. Must have tortured him for months. Like, man, what's going on here? Like, he was telling me all this, and that's great. And then you be in touch with like an English speaking translator, and they're good. Like, you go over, you do it in the day.
Good that they're an English speaking translator, because if they were translating everything to Spanish for you, you'd be like, no, I'm going to need a Spanish English speaking translator.
I landed into Turkey like at 10 o'clock at night, and it was pitch black. It was January. It was fucking miserable. And this little man could not speak fucking like English. Picked me up in his car, and I was like, I just kept thinking of taking. I'm never going to see the Waynes or Amy again. But we got there, and even the people in the hospital, nobody fucking spoke English, and I was like, "Can't get me on the Wi-Fi, can't get me on the fucking Wi-Fi." Like, and there was all the
Google Translate.
Wi-Fi, and I was like, "I can't get on the Google here." And finally they got it, and they came in and like, "Oh, we have to inject you," and I was like, "What the fuck's going on?" So some girl comes in and injects me with like pre-medicine, or they check if I'm okay to have this or whatever, and then you go to sleep the next morning. Thankfully, the girl came in the next morning, but I didn't sleep a wink all night. Like, I was just something like this here the whole night, like thinking.
So you're there overnight in the hospital?
How to stay overnight before the next day. But so that's where I kind of come in now in the business side of things, where I can take care of all of that. I kind of had to put myself in the deep end to come out
see
the
what
other way.
Problems you could iron out for other people.
Exactly. So it did. It was a success, and we've had loads of people overnight, and they're loving it. So if there is anybody that wants to do it and doesn't want to have to go through that fucking hassle, just hit me up.
But it's sort of the same, like, because we did our IVF in the Czech Republic. So it's that sort of like foreign experience where you're going, and it's a big thing to do. They're putting a baby in you, and you're like, is it mine? I don't know what you could be putting anything in here. I don't know. Like, until it comes out, until I look at it.
So your kid was conceived there, like?
Yeah, and I've got loads of ones frozen over there.
Serious?
Yeah.
Can you do that?
Yeah.
See, I'm so stupid, naive to all this kind of stuff.
You just put a wee coat on them, and then they thaw out, and then shove them in. No, yes, I've like 8 over there frozen embryos.
Yeah.
That are actually 3 weeks gestation. It's so interesting. Like, it's really like, so whenever you go, they get you like the man's sperm, the woman's egg, and they mix them in a dish. And they make embryos, and they put them into like an oven. Basically, it's like basically like an oven type thing for 5 days. But it speeds up the process to 3 weeks. So whenever they put the embryo into you, you're 3 weeks pregnant straight away.
Serious?
Yeah. So it doesn't like you don't have you do 40 weeks pregnancy. You're actually 37 weeks later is when you give birth.
That's like a hybrid baby. That's
insane. They speed up the process. They need to speed it up to see if it's a viable pregnancy, or it's going to be like a weak embryo that's not going to last. So they need to speed up that process. But obviously you're going in to the doctor's surgery in the Czech Republic hoping they're flinging your embryo into your nut, because if it's somebody else's, you're like, there's not a I can do now, I'm growing it, aren't I? Do you know? Because it has happened. Like, there has been clinics before who have been like two white parents giving birth to like an Asian baby, and they're it's happened in Belfast. Yeah. And I don't want to mention the fertility clinic, but it has happened in Belfast, and there's been like loads of like investigations into a couple of the places in Belfast because people have given birth to not their babies.
That's nuts.
And it's like Mission Impossible. Somebody comes in, like the doctor, you're literally sitting there like legs akimbo, the doctor's right in front of you. Sean's filming it all for YouTube. No, he's not. And then like a nurse will come in, so you're watching on a screen them take your embryo out of like an incubator, and they bring it in like, I know, tweezers, or like it's like a straw, and they go, I don't know what they do, but like it's like
like a pea shooter.
Yeah. Do you whenever you used to like go to McDonald's?
Yeah.
Wait a wee bit at the end and go, that's how they do IVF. And then this woman comes in, and she like, they record it with the camera, and they're like, state your name, cuz. Who's that, Stormzy? They're like,
what are you saying?
What are you saying? Yeah. They're like, state your name, your date of birth, whatever else, just like prove your identity. They scan a wee barcode on you, and they have to get it an ASAP, or it's gonna thaw out too much. I know, go the other way, get roasting. And like, it's a whole process. They have to make sure it's like definitely yours. Because of these things that have happened before, where people put the wrong babies in, and like Sean and I have always joked the whole way through like the first pregnancy and this one, we're like, this baby could come out just like Dutch, like, or no, what would you be from Czech Republic?
Czech.
Czech.
Yeah.
Fuck.
That's
it could
so
come out Dutch
interesting.
people go over there who are Dutch
Here's
too.
me crying about a hair transplant. Holy fuck.
I know, had a baby transplant.
Jesus Christ, fair play. That's
so
nuts.
It's wild. So
Yeah.
I understand how you feel.
Fucking hell.
Going to sleep
I'm
in
sweating
Turkey.
here. Jesus.
Do you know where you're like, is this... Well, at least as well, you got your own hair follicles put on your own head. And I have one out of two definitely had my own baby put on. We don't know this. I'm assuming this one's mine.
Hopefully.
If it's not, it's all right. Whatever. I'll raise it anyway. I'm raising a whole pile of ones that aren't mine. It's fine.
Me too.
Join in. Yeah, it'll be grand. So what about the future? You says to me that you wanna move to Portugal. And
No, we just.
Is it like a pipe
this.
dream?
It's a joke, basically. Like we're gonna wheel these kids out early. You know, I just turned 30 and Amy's 28, come 29. So I was thinking, right, 20 years time, we'll not even be 50. Like, and the kids was like,
yeah,
there you go, you're 20, fuck off.
yeah.
Go and live your life,
Go do your
and
thing.
we will sell up and go to Portugal, and you can visit us in the winter or
Yeah.
whatever. Come over and see us. That's kind of something we've always kind of joked about, but like I've been deadly serious. Like I will run the bar, I will gig in the bar. Like it's just something that we'll probably never fucking do it, but it's something that we can, you know, possibly.
But at least you'll have the options because the kids will be up and grown. And
Exactly, like, you know, a lot of my mates don't really have children. So, like, they're leaving it a bit tight. You know, you don't want to be running about having a kid, like, near your 40s and you're stuck till you're 60. Like, you could be dead then.
I know, my poor husband thought he was, like, his eldest.
What age is he now?
Well, he's 80. No. He's 39. But he's on his 5th child.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So, but he's a young 39, despite the fact we just found out his celiac, so his life expectancy is probably much less now. Can't have gluten. But Sean's very athletic and fit and blah, blah, blah. And he's been knackered since he was about 19 anyway, so he's just used to it. It was probably the gluten. He was blaming it on the kids. I think it's the gluten. But, yeah, so, I mean, ours will be up and out by the time he's 60. God, that's older than I thought. I'm younger than him, so it's fine. I'll keep us going. It's grand. It's absolutely fine. But we have always had this pipe dream of like, well, we have separate ones. Sean wants to live on his own in a cottage somewhere cutting wood. That's fine. But to do that, he needs to abandon his wife and 5 kids, and I don't think that's viable. But we would love to have like, in my head, I would love to live a life where like, you just go off and have like a wee Airbnb cottage and you run like a wee, you know what I mean? And you get up every morning and you put like scone bread and jam out for whoever's coming in and you talk to the bird. It's Snow White. You're talking to the birds. Like it's just that sort of idyllic lifestyle where you've no internet. But whenever the guests come, they're going to want Wi-Fi, I suppose.
Yeah, it's kind of work. You're just trying to flog your kids, aren't you? You're trying to get rid of them,
Yeah.
basically. Like, don't get me wrong, I love the kids. I know I'm probably on here, looks like I'm complaining, but when you messaged me about coming on the podcast, I was like, I went straight onto like Google Maps and it says, how long is it from my house to her studio? I was like, it's under 40 minutes, so that's two-way traffic. It's like 3.5 hours away from everyone, and then whatever time I'm in here. So I'm like, yes, get me on.
I saw this thing recently where it said like the stay-at-home parent like can be really jealous of the working parents' commute to and from work because they're like, well, you're not working, are you? But it's half an hour in the car where you get to listen to what not fucking blah blah black sheep anyway. You're listening to a podcast or Radio 1 or whatever you want to listen to, and you get time to yourself where you can listen to voice notes, so you can just be quiet.
Yeah.
And it's like that time that you don't get when you're at home all the time with kids, you know.
I know. That's probably what we argue about the most is like, you know, who does what and who does this. Like, and it becomes a bit of a competition. Like, well, I wash those dishes, so it's only right that you put them away.
Yeah.
But Amy only works down the road, 2 minutes down the road, like, and I still have to leave her to work. Right. She'll not walk. So
she's heavily pregnant.
No, but even when she's not pregnant, she had this like. Once I this is after Emmy. She's like, once I have this baby and I get back to work and finish, I'm gonna walk to work every day. And she hasn't walked once, and I mean, we live here from that spar down the road to her work. Yeah. But she'll not drive. I have to drive her. So I'm like, well, I have to.
Can she drive?
Aye.
But maybe she doesn't want to leave you without the car.
No, we have two, so it's fine.
This is ridiculous. Is it bad parking where she works?
Well, she says, so she works 5 minutes away. And she says, if I don't leave by 8:10, it'll take me 40 minutes to get there and park and stuff because the traffic's insane. But that's bullshit, like. So, because when I drive, I time it only takes me like 5-10 minutes. So she's giving herself 30 minutes to get parked. She's just shock lazy, and she'll probably kill me for saying this. But so that's basically what we fight about over the most, who does what for what. And I'd be like, well, look, I've washed those dishes and, you know, I've put them dishes away, so I think it's only right you do the next batch. And like, if I'm away, like at the gym and I come, she was like, I just so you know, I wiped the benches and I did those dishes, and I also hoovered the mat, so that's me for today.
Yeah.
And it's your turn.
But even like any time, like say somebody takes the recycling out and you're all, did you 5 minutes to yourself there? And they're like, well, no, I was taking the recycling out. So was there any kids with you? Well, there was no kids, but I was taking the bins out. Yeah, but that was alone. You were alone as an adult there, so I think that
it's like they know too, because actually just yesterday, like she was getting it tight with the pregnancy, so she did cook the dinner. To be fair, I'll give her that. So I cleaned up all the mess downstairs and sorted the dog, blah blah blah. And she went upstairs to play with the baby in the room. So I literally did the cleaning for about 20 minutes, a good 20 minutes of cleaning, washing, drying, putting away, whatever. And I tiptoed into the living room and I sat to see the minute my whole touched that sofa. When? Yeah. Go and come up and go and take Amy out the street. I'm literally just sat down.
Yeah.
But it's like she knows. She can hear my arse, that cushion move down.
Yeah.
And it's like, and you're like...
It's like a child can sniff the second you've poured a coffee. And they're all, well, now we're doing something instead of you drinking that coffee, aren't we?
Yeah, exactly.
I know.
Our relationship is now like, you know, when you get to that stage, the honeymoon stage ends.
Oh, aye.
And it's always great for the first while. Like, our relationship, for me, from my perspective, is all basically how much can I fucking annoy my partner.
Oh, really?
So this is like my satisfaction now with all these kids running about. How much can I annoy Amy? And so basically over lockdown, there was no hairdressers open or anything. I hadn't shaved for a while, and I'm shit at growing beards, but I can grow a decent enough moustache. So like I would let the hair grow for a bit. I'm like, I'm gonna shave this. So I shaved off the beard and I kept a moustache, and I just went down to Amy. I go, oh, what do you think of this here? She was, oh, get that fucking off now. See, the minute she lets her guard down, and doesn't like something, boom, this is it.
That's
so I
what
kept
I'm
the
gonna
moustache
do more.
for 3 months. 3 months I kept moustache for.
Again, how did she get pregnant?
I know. Turn the lights off. Even now, like with like, you know, it's the longest probably my hair's ever been, and I just hadn't got a cut in ages, and I was going around to getting a cut, and I would have shaved that moustache off if she hadn't said anything.
Yeah.
So it's just for my annoyance and her, and it just the way she looks at me every day, and she's like, fucking hell. So exactly. So I let my hair grow out, and like she was, oh, when you getting the haircut, and I'm like, well, I'm gonna have to add on another month to it now because you keep asking me, because it annoys her.
Oh,
and that's,
yeah.
So that's kind of now where we're at. So
you should become too busy hoovering that mat.
Hopefully we get the kids out, and then we can rekindle our love again eventually.
Yeah, you can go to Portugal, no mustache,
exactly,
trimmed hair, 50-year-old man, 50-year-old teenager.
Yeah,
I'm done giving. She doing things to annoy you on purpose, or is this just a one-way street? Because this feels like bullying. I
think what she does is like she just leaves things lying on her arse, like just drops everything, and I'd be like, I'm a clean freak, and if there's something in the ground, I'd be picking it up, and I think she does that purposely. Even like the slightest thing, she'll wash her hands, and instead of grabbing the towel first, she'll wash her hands, and then she'll walk across the floor and just do things like that.
Sean,
and dry her hands, and I'd be like, what the?
Sean doesn't dry his hands like ever. As like a rule, it's like he's never met a towel. He just, or even a hand dryer. Sean will come out, like say we're out having dinner in a restaurant or something, go to the toilet, wash his hands, and he'll come out and like grab my hand, hold it, and I'll be like, you're wringing wet.
But that, you would think that's pee.
No, I've got, exactly, and even if it's not, whatever it is, stinking. If I wanted to be wet, I could get wet myself dead quick. You could just turn the tap on. But it's absolutely stinking. Like, Sean does that too. However, despite that, Sean is... Saying this now makes it sound like I'm not, but Sean is more hygienic than me. But I'm hygienic too. That makes me sound dirty, but I'm not. Sean's OCD, clean.
Okay, yeah.
Even though he does that weird thing with his dirty his hands. But his hands are clean when he does it. But anyway, I would be like... more organised, and like I like to like have everything in places and everything like organised, aesthetically looking nice and all. But Sean would be like for instance, I would wipe if Winter sneezes or her nose runs constantly. She's constantly got green snot hanging out of her nose. So yeah, I would wipe it and I just rub it on her top or do you know whatever.
I would do that too.
Like I'm not gonna go get a tissue every time. Fuck me, save the trees. Do you know like it would be every 3 minutes and like. And Sean's like, I can't believe that you do that. Like he would do that and go wash his hands, and I'd be like, why's up? Anytime he even looks at our cat, he washes his hands and all. And
serious?
I'm like, get a life.
And do you know
You're
what?
mad about yourself.
Amy's a bit like that too. Like there's times I go to the toilet and if she'll wait till I come out, and if I haven't, like I do wash.
She
my
goes,
hands,
let me
right?
smell your hands.
But if I'm doing like a number, a pee, if I'm doing a pee, right?
A number P.
I was going to say number 1 too, and I got confused. A number 1. So if I would go on and do that, I would kind of like I don't have to touch anything. I can kind of just and pee and flush the chain. So I really need to wash my hands personally. Okay. And when I come out, then you haven't washed your hands. You've been touching. Now you're going to touch the child. So I have to go on and wash my hands. But I don't technically really have to wash my hands because I can.
I sort of agree with her, but I wouldn't be on your back about it because at the end of the day, I think it'll build the child's immune system. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. But surely. So men do use toilet roll sometimes when they pee. Do not dab it. No. This is getting so graphic now. But do not. Do you ever do a sit down pee? Sean does that for 5 minutes piece.
It depends if I'm doing the other one. I'll do both together.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, but no, I don't think I'd ever sit down
Not
just
a number,
to piss. No.
A number 3.
Yeah.
A number K. But John would be much more like all our things. He hates anyone being near his food. Like. People preparing his food, he's a wee bit anxious about. Like he'd be like, he doesn't want someone touching his food or like.
He needs to go.
Yeah, like if he's having his dinner, he doesn't mind if I like take something off his plate. But see, even if one of the kids do,
touch it, yeah.
And like that's probably his kids. We haven't looked into it. We don't know if they're definitely ours. The ones to check. I mean, but he doesn't. He would be like just weirded out by it. Like if my parents were done or his parents, and he just could, if one of them had touched something from his plate or even got their own fork and took a chip off his plate, he'd be like, ugh.
I kind of get that. Like, I think I'd let anyone touch my plate.
But even if somebody we know has like baked a cake or scones and all,
right?
Like, he doesn't
So
like
we
it.
used to get
he
that.
Hates when I piss on him.
We used to get that all the time. In the X Factor, used to get like fans sending us in cupcakes and shit.
Yeah.
And like, I just remember people being like, "I'm not eating that. You don't know what's in that." And I'd be like,
"Aye, you've not grown up and done given."
Exactly. Do you know how many pairs of Navy Trax bottoms I have? Do you know what I mean? Like
one.
Exactly one. And then like I used to eat everything. Like to be fair, like fans just sent everything in.
Yeah.
And like everything.
But then would you? I mean, I suppose people are afraid of being poisoned and being killed. But I sort of would like to take the chance.
I'm so naive.
Over a pizza.
I always try and see the good in people though. I would be like.
Did anyone ever send you in hot food?
Because
I remember Jane Weisner, the actress Jane Weisner, was doing the Opera House panto one time and she said somebody sent her in a pizza and she wouldn't eat it, but everyone else did. And I was like, you're so mad.
I would have had a pizza, yeah.
I'd had a pizza before I'd had a cake.
No, I've never had any hot food. It's usually like cupcakes or just cakes in general.
Aye.
So I'm all over that.
Do you know what I don't understand about that? The person that would send you that in doesn't get the satisfaction of being like, seeing you eat it. Not that that's a fetish, but you know, like maybe they did. Maybe they just wanted to imagine you eating their cupcakes. But you like they didn't get to be like, here you are.
I know.
Have a nice day. Nice? Like it was somebody else. Surely a middleman gave it to you.
Yeah, well, someone will come in and say there's a few things, but
it's a delivery,
yes, but sometimes they usually would always stick about where you're at, so you would go out and say thanks, and then
you're going here, velvet cake. I fucking love it.
You would go out and be like, oh, thank you so much for like making that cake, and then like, oh, who was it? And then some girl would come up and she had like yellow teeth and the snot here, and you'd be like, thanks.
Yeah, it was lovely. Yeah. I bet that bit of cake I'd still eat. Sean would think twice about the yellow tooth, snotty nosed cake.
But like being from Dungiven and sort of working class, you kind of.
I think too.
You can't like pick when you eat.
I think being a student too, because I lived in halls, and I don't even want to tell you the places I lifted food from to eat. Do you know what I mean? And it wasn't out of lack of like not being able to afford my own food. It was just like
it's there.
Your standards by the week drop. By the time we moved out of our halls in Queens, they had like our hall was about 8 or 9 of us living there, and there was like £3,000 worth of charges at the end because they were like, we need to get like people to come in and like fumigate the place. Every single pot, pan, like plate, everything had grown a new life. It was like Avatar. Like, they were all fucking disgusting. And we were just all there, like, growing extra legs and just, like, warts out our heads. And just, like, we were just all disgusting.
Where was your halls?
In Queens.
On Queens.
What do you call it? Elms Village.
Right. I spent a week up there with a few friends over, like, when they were at uni in first year or whatever. I don't even know why I went, but it changed me for life.
Why?
Being in the Holy Lands, just.
Oh, well, I lived in the Holy Lands for 2 years as well.
Never again.
That's an experience.
I think I left after, like, the second or third day. I was like, I can't do this anymore.
Do you know what? This goes out, like, is it next week? Is it this week, Paddy's? Yeah, so we're just after Paddy's. So people in the Holy Lands right now, when this goes out, are just about coming round from Paddy's.
Is it still a thing? Like,
I think so. When I lived there, I lived in one of the streets. It was called Jerusalem Street, and both ends were barricaded in by police.
It's nuts.
And everyone brought their sofas out into the front, like, garden, and everyone just sat in their sofas drinking, throwing shit at the police.
Weird.
Like, that was the hobby.
Yeah.
that was the parade.
Welcome to Ireland.
Yeah. Like, that's what people did. I didn't even spectate. But that was what it was like. And the house I lived in the Holy Lands as well had slugs constantly, all up the bedroom walls, all up the bedroom doors, like, day and night. Like, that, I think you just get such a... That's why I think I now be like, Sean, wise up about a snot from my own toddler's nose. Do you realise I've had slugs for breakfast in somebody else's fucking tin of tuna? Like, it's just, you know, it's not... I'm not bothered. Who's the most famous person you've met? I'm sure you've met loads of famous people. The person for you that most excited you the most?
Excited me the most. See, there's people that excited me, then there's people that, like, I didn't, like...
You met and were like, oh, God. Who? Name and shame.
Oh, God, there's a few. Who was it that I... Gary Barlow.
Big letdown?
Yeah.
Why?
I just didn't think he didn't like me. He just didn't... He wasn't friendly at all. Like, Mark Owen was so friendly. Mm-hmm. I don't know, we just kind of, like, we got off on the wrong foot. I was, like, in the canteen and we had catering and I was sitting there eating a cheeseburger, chips, muffin, whatever, and he came out and he sort of pulled me and says, look, you want to take yourself seriously here, son? You know, I sound like that boy at Coronation Street. Liz.
Liz?
No, you know Liz's husband?
No, it's all Liz, definitely.
I tried to do a Manchester accent. I don't know.
Yeah.
So basically, he just was sort of grilling me on my food straight away, and then, like,
what age were you?
I was like 16.
No, that's
do you know what
not
I mean?
on.
So basically, we had like a master class of then sitting down with them, and they was sort of singing for them, and he kind of just said, like, I was a bit hit and miss. Some weeks I was good, and other weeks I wasn't, and I was like,
what was he doing then?
It was Take That week.
Oh.
So they were doing like a master class with us before, and I don't know, I just didn't think he liked me, but I was more of a Robbie fan anyway, so I didn't give a shit.
Oh, right, okay.
Yeah.
Burn.
But there was loads of people who, like, you know, Britney Spears was
Did you meet Britney Spears?
I have met a lot of people, like, it's nuts.
Imagine.
So, like, I was going to, like, the most famous person I've met, and I was going to keep this for the pop culture thing.
You can tell me now.
Right, so basically...
You remember when?
Everybody remember when Michael Jackson died.
Yeah.
You kind of always remember where you were when you heard it at the time.
Yeah.
And I was living in London at the time, and we were out, I think we were a restaurant, bar, whatever, and then it sort of filtered through the restaurant, and then people just started crying. And, like, I was like, Michael Jackson, I was never really that big of a fan of him. I only was until he died, and I started listening to music. I was like, John, he was actually awesome. Yeah. So I met Michael Jackson 3 months prior till he died.
Shut up.
By complete fluke. Sometimes now I still have to, like, play it in my head. Did that fucking happen? But it did.
Did you gift him a cupcake and that's what happened?
I think so. So basically, you remember when he came back out of retirement to do those, like, 50 dates?
Yeah. What did you call that tour?
This Is It tour.
This Is It tour.
And whatever. And so he was doing them in the O2 in London, and by chance we were on tour at the time, and we were playing the O2 the day he was supposed to have his big press conference to announce it. So there's people literally camping out on the front door for like a week just to get in, because we're only letting like a couple of hundred people in, and we were very lucky that we returned that day, and a few of the boys in the tour were like Michael Jackson fans.
Yeah.
Says, do you want to go? I says, might as well, we'll go around and see the crack. So he slipped off side stage and he came out, he did his press conference, and I'll do the 50 dates, you know, this is it, last one, and brilliant, great. And then we left to go back, because we had a show to do, to go backstage, and the O2 is just a huge place, it's the biggest like arena venue in the UK, and we kind of got lost a bit. And then, like, next thing, walking up the corridors, the corner eye. It's Michael Jackson, literally just walking up past us.
With who? Who was he with?
He was with a couple of security people.
Aye.
Now, a couple of the boys were massive fans, so they were like, you know...
Losing their shit.
Michael, and this here. And I kind of was like, I couldn't talk. Like, my voice had left me. I don't know whether I was like, just because it was Michael Jackson, or he looked like fucking so scary as well. So I kind of went under a wee shell.
Aye.
He looked like he looked like a Ken doll.
Aye.
It was fucking so scary.
Like, just not a good
So I
person.
freaked out, and I was just stood there with throwing my head down. I couldn't speak, and I just let the boys do their thing. Hello, and he had that like high tone voice. It's like, oh, thank you guys, and oh, like, I love your work. Yeah. And he had about 5 scared guys. They said, can we get a picture? And the boys were like, no, fuck off. Ushered us out. It literally felt like it was like 3 seconds, something like that.
Yeah.
But I was just sitting there like a seer, and I've never got starstruck with people. Like, I have met like Mariah Carey. I've had a conversation with her. I've sat with Beyonce.
Yeah.
I had spoke to Amy Winehouse on the phone multiple times. Like, I've worn Kate Moss's fur jacket outside wardrobe and didn't even know it was fucking her until afterwards. Because listen, I was 16. I was wearing navy tracksuit bottoms
And a fur coat.
and a fucking fur coat, and I didn't know anybody in show business. I was literally doing my GCSEs to like being in the presence of these people.
God,
And it's only now I look back and think, fucking hell, son, you actually were like, you lived a great wee life there.
Imagine if Michael Jackson had come over and was all, I've just been talking to Gary Barlow and he says you shouldn't be eating those cheeseburgers and chips.
Oh God! Like, it was so surreal.
Why were you on the phone to Amy Winehouse?
So she had like a niece who was a big fan of the show, and she used to come all the time, and she was a big fan of me.
of X Factor.
Big fan of X Factor, and she was a big fan of me. So she was like doing a debut album or something, and she wanted to collaborate. Not Amy, but this young girl. And so I was like, I definitely. And she was, oh, look, Amy can't come to the show and all, but you know, we can like FaceTime or we can talk on the phone. And it was just like, it was so random because it started out the 3 of us, and then it just kind of just became me and Amy. And it was like, she just phoned me up and so supportive, and like you're doing so well, you're only 16, the way you conduct yourself, how you come across, you're so mature. So obviously was a troubled girl and knew all about that side of the industry, and just trying to give me advice. She came in very
young too, didn't
exactly.
she? Exactly. Yeah.
So, and it was an absolute honour to even share those phone calls and FaceTimes with her. It was like, this is nuts.
Not to be alarming, but there is a bit of a pattern here that you meet someone...
Yeah.
And then they seem to die, Owen, and I don't want my life to be cut short.
I'm sorry. But like, it's just been surreal, some of the, you know, the people you actually sit and chat to, and because you're 16, because I was 16 at the time, I didn't fully know or understand how like people would give their toe to be in the presence of these people.
Yeah.
And I'm literally just sitting here and having a conversation with Beyonce, or, you know...
so you've met Beyonce as well?
Aye. So, well, she did the final.
Then she did the final.
She did the final.
She did with Alexandra.
Yeah.
Yes.
So we all got like 15 minutes in her dressing room just to chat. And do you know what the first thing she said to me? My mum was pregnant at the time with my youngest sibling.
And was your mum with you when she said it?
She was not with me. No. She wasn't there at the time. But her first thing, she was, how's your mum doing? How's she keeping? Like fucking Beyonce asking, how's my mass pregnancy? Do you know what I mean? God. Like, that's how unbelievable like she is.
Yeah.
That's why I think she's like the GOAT of all time. Like,
she is the GOAT.
For her to, like, she probably never even found that out. She probably got a researcher to go and do it. But it doesn't matter. It's the fact that she went to that trouble to even ask me.
I remember where I was when I watched that final, and I watched Beyonce come on stage with Alexandra Burke, and I near lost my whim through my arse. I was like, this is I am still a big Beyonce fan, but at that, when I was that age, like in your like late teens, Beyonce was like the biggest thing in the whole fucking world.
Seriously, it was
just amazing.
As soon as that happened, like, and I said, I just knew that was it, and like I was off on the side of stage, like voting for Alexandra then. That was fucking. I was so iconic, and I just thought, that's insane, just to witness her like perform so close.
Alexandra Burke, JLS,
myself,
and you in the final. Who did JLS sing with?
Westlife.
Who did you sing with?
Boys.
Oh my God. I mean, that's fucking iconic.
It's so class. Like, I was so buzzing about it.
That's right.
It was like, there was rumours going about that, like, JLS were getting Rihanna and I was getting like Justin Timberlake. And then, I'm not even joking, like, and this is no disrespect to JT, but when I heard I got Boyzone, just growing up and being Irish, like, I was fucking buzzing, and they were awesome, and I got to meet the
biggest Irish boy band.
I got to meet Stephen Gately, who later passed away.
Owen, I'm swear to fuck, if you come near me, don't come any further.
I've never actually fucking thought about it like
People
that.
are dying after you meet them. What are you doing? You're the Grim Reaper of fucking music.
Fucking hell, I never thought of it that way.
You're the musical Grim Reaper.
Oh my God, you learn something about yourself. But it was just class to be in, like, the midst of all that and, like, you know, just being 16 and even go back to Michael Jackson, like, when you were in the presence of him, it was sick. It was just bizarre. Yeah. He looked so scary. He looked like he was like something out of a horror movie.
Aye. And then this wee soft voice.
And like, oh, you guys are amazing. Yeah. I was here and I was like, what the fuck? Like, literally 3 weeks ago, I was literally doing like GCSE maths and then fucking standing here and Michael Jackson squealing in my ear. Like, it's nuts. Like, I'm from here to here with like that, and that's how mental it was. And like sometimes I don't even give myself enough credit for it. Like when people ask me, "Oh, that was a great achievement," I'm like, "It's grand." You know, I got on a TV show and I got a bit lucky and blah blah blah. But it was like.
Do you ever think there was a alternative route that could have happened that could have fucked your life up? Do you reckon when you see people in those situations, like with sort of the world at their feet at such a young age, and you go, "Had I not made the correct decisions that you did make that kept your life on a healthy." Like could you have been?
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. You can get in with the wrong crowd, the wrong people. To be honest, I think it's because I was so naive, so immature, hadn't a clue what I was actually doing. Basically, it was you either go and sing in front of millions of people every week in London, you make this amount, you get this exposure, you do music, what you've always wanted to do, or you can stay home and you can do RE in school. Do you know what I mean? So it was like it wasn't a hard decision to make, but then I didn't know to the extremes how mad it was going to turn it, because like I literally only auditioned like out of a hunch. Someone told me in school I was a good singer. I asked mum and dad. They says, "Oh, we'll talk about it." I didn't listen to them. I rung up and phoned and I auditioned myself. The letter came through the door and I was away the next week. And then literally 3 months down the line, I'm sitting, me and Beyonce's having a cup of tea and she's asking me how my ma's pregnancy is going.
That's
Do you know,
crazy.
it's fucking nuts, like how quick it went.
Which is why you can understand why some people lose their minds, because it's a crazy whirlwind of a place, especially so young. So how did you get on with your GCSE maths?
Oh, I fucking failed it, but then I went back and got it then like a couple of years later. I think I did like that fucking shitty foundation essential skills math. I didn't want to get it and I was like, I don't need this, but my mom made me go and get it. So.
I think they say you need it, but I don't think
you don't. Do you fuck?
But if my stepsons are listening, you do. You need it. It's very important.
Absolutely. I know, because they're actually at that stage now. Cooper's going into like P5 and shit's starting to get a bit real for him now.
Yeah.
And he's like, well, you didn't do this, or you failed this, or you're a singer. Can I not just be a footballer? I'm like, no, but you can't do all that unless you have all these exams.
Yeah.
Like, so.
But like when you're on stage and you're like singing with Boyzone, you're like, Pythagoras' theorem can go shit itself. What do I need to know?
Exactly.
I
know. It's nuts too as well. Do you know, it's like in school, like you don't learn about your taxes or your VAT return and shit like that. And when I was 16 and I come out and then you make X amount of money and you have to pay this amount of money and you're like, what the fuck is going on? How do we not learn this in school? It's insane. So I had to learn at 16 all that stuff.
The schooling system
is ridiculous.
But it teaches you to be an employee. Where it doesn't teach you to be your own boss or your own CEO.
Exactly.
So that's why they don't teach you about stuff like that, because they're teaching everyone to be subordinates.
Yeah.
So, because the same too, like you get to do your taxes and you're all, I have to give someone 20% of it.
Exactly.
I earned that. But you don't realise when you're in a job, it comes off first.
And for us, the first time it was 40%.
Aye.
So it was like, what the fuck? Like, why am I doing this? Like,
I know. I've just lost near half my money. See, maths for me, and you 40% was near half.
Exactly.
I did get my GCSE maths.
But what an experience. I mean, like, it's something now, like, in the kids, like, especially the older two, they kind of know about it.
Yeah.
And they have YouTubed it. And they have seen me.
Listen, it's been an absolute pleasure talking to you. Is there anything you'd like to plug before we go? Not
really.
Your wedding bands?
We have a wedding. Well, if you want anything to do with weddings, I got 5-piece, 2-piece, 1-piece. You can just get me on Instagram or Facebook. And all the baldies as well. Yeah. No, sorry, I shouldn't call them that because I know how insecure it can be losing your hair.
How should they contact you? Because you are difficult to contact.
Am I?
Well, yeah, I contacted you months before on Instagram and you never got back to me. And then when I emailed you, got back to me straight away.
Because it went in the message requests and we weren't following each other, and that's where the communication. But as soon as you emailed me, it was back within the hour.
These people who are bald you're not going to be following them. Would you follow a whole pile of bald people?
No, you can get me on. I think Instagram is just Eoghan Quigg, Eoghan, the correct way to spell it.
I know.
And
that's not a thing. Did everyone at the time say, your name wrong? Drive you mad?
I've never actually went to like coffee shops and Starbucks.
Eoghan.
where they've even spelt my name right. Eoghan, eggnog.
Eggnog's a good one though.
That was funny.
It's fun if it's at the festive time of year.
I do like Christmas, but like after a while it was like,
yeah.
do you know what I mean? Like,
I'm the same too.
You know my name, like stop calling me that shit. That actually triggered me as a 16-year-old kid, because that actually just that stuck on for ages. Like,
I think especially because you come from a place where everyone knows how to say Owen. That's not difficult with the Irish spelling of it. That's not difficult.
Yeah.
But then you go on TV and Louis Walsh is like,
well, to be fair, he's not, because he knows that spelling.
I don't know why he used him, the only Irish judge
person. He was okay.
3 other English
They
judges.
used to call me like Eugene and stuff. Fucking Eugene, like, you know what I mean?
Ridiculous.
Simon used to call me. I think he was my mentor and everything, and I think like right up until fucking maybe it was like the semi-final, he was calling me Eugene like sometimes.
Like, it's just like
bro,
don't look at
on.
it. Just say the word Owen. If you need to
Exactly.
in your head spell it in English, just don't look at it if that's the problem.
Yeah, I know. So that ticked me for ages. I hated that. I don't know why.
Do you know the comedian Paddy McDonnell?
Yes.
He was at my wedding, and he, to this day, still sometimes calls me Diona, and it's Diona.
See, I was actually...
Oh, it's all right.
When I was on the way up here, I was like...
Is it Diona?
It spells Diona, but is it Diona? Because I have an auntie called Fiona, but
It's the
she
same
spells
as-
it Fiona.
Same as
So
Fiona.
I'm so happy you
But with
you
the day,
said your name before.
at
I
my
said it.
wedding, Paddy McDonnell goes to my daddy. Oh, doesn't Diona look great? My dad was like, my daughter Diona. Yeah, she looks lovely.
Yeah.
But that's not how you say her name. You at her wedding. It was just so weird. I mean, people do it all the time. Like, I had to, like, Tim McGarry always introduces me and things as Diona. I've been working with him for like a decade.
Yeah.
Like, it's just that some people can't reprogram how they've decided your name is said.
Yeah.
And you're like, well, then you're out of my life unless you pay me for something, then you can stay.
Exactly.
It's fine.
I know. It's not that hard to learn.
So, Instagram at Eoghan Quigg.
It's just, I think it is. Yeah, it's just Eoghan Quigg. If you can spell my name, happy days. And then, yeah, like if anyone's insecure thinking about hair transplants,
Imagine
I'm here. I
if
can
you're
help
about
you.
to get married
Yeah.
and bald, this is your guy.
We could probably work out a
A wee bit of a
deal there.
deal.
Yeah.
Is there whenever you should have a 5-piece band, a 2-piece band, and a 1-piece
Yeah,
band?
yeah.
Right. Well, you're the 1
I'm
piece.
the one.
You don't have a
Me,
one.
if you just want me on your own, then you can have that.
Imagine, like, do you want the 1 piece? But do the other guys get jealous if? Do you know, like?
No.
Do you know if like someone says, "Oh, I'll maybe I'll get the 2-piece," and then they get the 1-piece, and the other guy's like,
No, I don't know. Maybe. I haven't really thought about that.
"Yeah, I bet you they are." That's all I'm saying.
Hopefully you don't watch this.
That's what happened to the rest of the Girls Aloud when Nadine
Yeah.
killed it. Thank you very much for coming
No
on.
worries.
It's been
Thanks
an
for having
absolute
me.
pleasure. Make sure to contact Owen for all your hair and wedding needs.